Index funds and ETFs are basically the same thing, except one tiny difference could save you thousands of dollars or cost you just as much. If you've ever felt confused about whether you should buy an index fund or an ETF, you're not alone. They sound similar. They look similar. Even experienced investors mix them up. In most YouTube videos, they make it sound way more complicated than it actually is. But here's the thing. Choosing the wrong one for your situation can quietly drain your returns over time, and you won't even notice it happening. So in this video, we're breaking it all down. You'll learn exactly what index funds are, what ETFs are, and most importantly, how to pick the right one based on how you invest. No jargon, no fluff, just simple, actionable clarity. And by the end, you'll have a decision framework that actually makes sense. Let's start with the basics. An index fund is a type of mutual fund that tracks a market index, like the S&P 500. Think of it like this. Instead of picking individual stocks, you're buying a tiny slice of 500 companies all at once. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, all in one investment. It's passive, meaning no fund manager is trying to outsmart the market. The fund just mirrors the index. That's it. And because there's no fancy stock picking involved, the fees are super low, usually between 0.03% and 0.2% per year. Now here's something important. Index funds are priced once per day at the end of the trading day. That price is called the net asset value, or NAV. So if you buy an index fund at 2 p.m., you won't know the exact price you paid until the market closes at 4 p.m. It's like ordering food online. You place the order now, but the final price gets locked in later. This matters. We'll come back to it. Now let's talk about ETFs, exchange-traded funds. ETFs also track indexes. In fact, many ETFs track the exact same indexes as index funds. So what's the difference? ETFs trade on the stock market like individual stocks. That means you can buy and sell them anytime the market is open. 9:30 a.m., noon, 3:47 p.m. Doesn't matter. You see the price in real time. You buy it. Done. It's like buying a stock. Instant. Flexible. Most ETFs are passive, just like index funds. But some are actively managed, meaning a fund manager is trying to beat the market. Spoiler, most don't. But we'll get to that. ETFs also tend to have low fees, sometimes even lower than index funds. We're talking 0.03% to 0.10% for the big ones like VOO or SPY. So far, they sound pretty similar, right? Here's where it gets interesting. Let's compare them side by side, because this is where most people get confused. Pricing. Index funds? Priced once per day at market close. ETFs? Priced every second the market is open. If you're a long-term investor who buys once a month and holds for years, this difference doesn't matter. But if you like having control over the exact price you pay, ETFs win here. Flexibility. With ETFs, you can trade them instantly. You can also use advanced strategies like limit orders or stop losses. Index funds? You can't. You submit your order, and it processes at the end of the day. For most people, this extra flexibility is unnecessary, but it's there if you want it. Throwing fees. This is where people get it wrong. They assume ETFs are always cheaper. Not true. Some index funds, like Fidelity's F-Shares, have zero fees, literally 0%. Some ETFs, like VTI, charge 0.03%. But here's the catch. When you buy an ETF, you might pay a trading commission depending on your broker. Most big brokers like Vanguard, Fidelity, and Schwab don't charge commissions anymore, but smaller platforms might. Index funds? Usually no commissions, ever. So the fee difference is tiny, and in most cases, it's negligible. Taxes. Here's the part most videos skip. ETFs are generally more tax efficient than index funds. Why? Because of how they're structured. When you sell shares of an index fund, the fund itself might have to sell stocks to pay you. That can trigger capital gains taxes for everyone in the fund. ETFs avoid this through something called in-kind redemptions. It's a technical loophole, but the result is simple: fewer taxable events. If you're investing in a taxable brokerage account, this matters. If you're investing in a tax-advantaged account like a 401k or IRA, it doesn't matter at all. Taxes are already deferred. Minimum investment. Index funds often have minimums, sometimes $1,000, sometimes $3,000. ETFs? You can buy a single share. If one share of ETI costs $200, that's your minimum. For beginners with smaller amounts to invest, ETFs are easier to access. All right, let's clear up some myths, because there's a lot of bad advice floating around. Myth number 1, ETFs are always better. Not true. They're just different. If you're investing monthly through automatic deposits, index funds are often smoother. No need to log in and manually buy shares. If you want more control and flexibility, ETFs are great. But better? Depends on you. Myth number 2, active ETFs will beat the market. Here's a stat for you. According to Morningstar, over 90% of actively managed funds fail to beat their benchmark index over 10 years. That includes active ETFs. So yes, some fund managers get lucky for a few years, but long-term, the odds are against them, and you're paying higher fees for that underperformance. Myth number 3, diversification means no risk. Index funds and ETFs give you diversification. That's true. But diversification doesn't eliminate risk. It reduces it. If the entire market crashes, your index fund crashes too. The point isn't to avoid risk. It's to avoid unnecessary risk by not betting everything on a few stocks. So which one should you choose? Here's the simple rule of thumb. Choose index funds if you want to automate your investing with recurring deposits. You don't care about intraday price movements. You're investing through a 401k or employer plan. They usually only offer mutual funds. You prefer simplicity. Choose ETFs if you want to control the exact price you pay. You're investing in a taxable brokerage account and care about tax efficiency. You have a smaller amount to invest and can't meet index fund minimums. You like the flexibility of trading anytime. Honestly, for most long-term investors, it doesn't matter that much. The difference between a Vanguard index fund and a Vanguard ETF tracking the same index is microscopic. What actually matters is picking a low-cost fund, staying invested for the long term, not panicking and selling during crashes. Those 3 things will determine your success way more than whether you picked an index fund or an ETF. Look, here's the bottom line. Index funds and ETFs are both incredible tools for building wealth. They're cheap. They're diversified. They're simple. The which is better debate? It's mostly noise. Focus on the fundamentals. Invest regularly, keep fees low, and let compound interest do the heavy lifting. Whether you choose an index fund or an ETF, you're already ahead of 90% of people who never start investing at all. So pick one, start small, and stay consistent. That's how you win. If this video helped clear things up, hit the like button and subscribe for more no-nonsense investing content. And now I'm curious, which team are you on? ETFs or index funds? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next one. This content is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial, investment, or legal advice. All investments involve risk, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Always do your own research and consider consulting a qualified financial professional before making any investment decisions.